Hey students, this is Professor Baird here. I'm just going to take about 5 minutes to talk to you a little bit about what should go into your assessment portfolio and what does not need to go in your assessment portfolio. First, let's talk about week 8, your assignments. So I have navigated to week 8 in Brightspace under the apply section. You have an in-class discussion this week, which is sort of a reflection looking back on this class as a whole. And so you're going to complete that discussion board forum just as normal, but you are going to copy and paste that and you are going to include that into your assessment portfolio. So just kind of have that in the back of your mind, and I'll come back to that in a few minutes. You're then going to complete a self-review of your live performance review. So I will be looking at your live performance reviews and giving you feedback and grade on that. And then I also want you to complete this self-review. So this is sort of a checklist for you to go through and make sure that you haven't missed anything. So under this self-review assignment, you can click on the provided guide here. And when you do that, it will download a document that you will then click on, which is here. And voila, there's nothing you need to do except fill in this template here. So it's going to ask you specific questions just to make sure that you have checked off everything that's important to include in this live performance review. Anything that you say no to in this column, you will then expand on in this column here. So you will save that and you will resubmit it to this link here for your grade. So that will be due April 30th. So that will help you make sure you haven't missed anything. And now let's talk about the assessment portfolio submission. This is the biggest chunk of your grade. It's extremely important, and it is a culmination of a lot of things that we've done so far. But avoid any temptation of submitting any assignments without revision. Every assignment that you have submitted to me, I have given you a grade and feedback on. And a very important part of your grade is implementing that feedback, showing me that you've learned, that you've included everything you need to include. So that's going to be very important for your grade. So let's take a look. So we click on this link here, and it's going to take you to your assessment portfolio instructions. We have here a list of all of the items that are going to be included in your assessment portfolio. So double check, triple check, quadruple check that everything is there before you submit it. The first thing that's going to be there is your table of contents, and do not try to make that on your own. I do have a template for you to download and fill out. It's not your typical course reflection, ... page 1. It doesn't look like that. So I will show you in just a second what that looks like. But first, your table of contents. And by the way, these are in the correct, actually, these are not in the correct order. The correct order is table of contents, course reflection, and then your 3 revised humanities engagements, 1, 2, and 3, your museum review, then your live performance review, and then finally the deeper look discussion forum. And I will show you in that table of contents, it will be in the correct order, so I'll show you that now. Okay, so if you click on the instructions here, it's going to take you to this page. This here is your table of contents, and you can download this by clicking here, and it will be in a nice pretty document all ready for you to go. So this is the correct order here of your assignments, and essentially you're going to copy and paste these things into one long document. So as much as possible, it needs to be condensed into one document. I'll talk about that in a second. Everything should be located there. What your table of contents will do is it's going to show me what you have revised or polished when you resubmitted this as your assignment, your assessment portfolio. So for instance, Humanities Engagement 1, let's say it was an essay that you did. You're going to include in this box exactly what was lacking in that assignment the first time you submitted it and what you have added or changed this time to submit it. And that's what I'll be looking for when I'm looking and grading your assignment. So this is very important. Make sure you get that right because you don't want to miss points on this. So this is your table of contents, and what I'm going to do also is show you just an example of a student submission. This was her table of contents here, so you can see that for each thing it says what she did to ensure that it was ready to be submitted. For instance, this one here, she said, one area I did not touch on in my presentation was the impact the play had on future plays and generations as a whole. In my revision, I will add such and such to help address that issue. So that is what I'm looking for here. So then you'll see she's copied and pasted all of her submissions. After that, here's her course reflection. Here's her first humanities engagement assignment. This actually, I think, is her first one, so not to be confusing. This actually, I know this looks like an image, but it's actually a link to her YouTube video. So what I am asking you to do, if at all possible, is if you do have a video to submit or some kind of file with sound, if you could please upload it to YouTube and then include the link in here in your long document, that would be greatly helpful and beneficial to me. I have a lot of these assignments to grade, and I have very limited space to download all your documents, and don't take it personally, but a lot of them are like over 500 megabytes, and I can't download 40 of those. Just can't happen. So as much as possible, if you can condense into one document, that would be great. This student did have a PowerPoint presentation, so that she did include as a separate attachment, and that is fine. So I can click on this and I can go to her her presentation. Now, keep in mind, if I did give her feedback, or if I give you feedback on a presentation that you did, you don't need to feel like you need to re-record it. But anything that was missing, perhaps if I gave you feedback and said, I'm looking for X, Y, or Z, what you can do is just give me a short paragraph here, including or changing or whatever, just saying, you know, in my revision, I'd like to also add this, this, and this. And that will suffice. So you don't need to re-record anything that was recorded. Go ahead and include any references. You're basically just copying and pasting everything just over and over and over. So with each assignment, she has included the references at the end of each one. So no need to condense any of that at the end or redo any of that. This is her museum review. She's included some images, which is helpful. And yours does not have to be this long, but she had a good example here. And then her live performance review. And then at the very end, we have her deeper look discussion forum. And this was from week 7. So these are all the elements that need to be included. So this table of contents will really help to guide you to make sure that you've done everything you need to do and completed everything you need to and in the correct order. If you do have any questions about the assessment portfolio, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would rather that you ask rather than assume and miss points. Please also keep in mind that I do not accept late work. I think you know that already, but just remember that, especially for this week. I have to get the grades in immediately for the people who are graduating, and so if it's not in by Tuesday midnight, it's a 0. You don't want a 0 on this assignment because you probably won't be able to pass the course or come close to it. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Make sure that each of these elements is included and revised, and I am very excited to read them.